Hello, it's time for another episode of It's Not About You. We've been talking about selflessness and how to be selfless and the examples of selflessness in the Bible. Our prominent model of selflessness is always going to be Jesus Christ. He consistently prioritized the needs of others, and he demonstrated this through his acts of service, compassion, and ultimately in his death. There are a lot of biblical figures that modeled this before and after Jesus, since his death, burial, and resurrection. Jesus is the ultimate model of selflessness. And if we say we're disciples of Jesus, what are we trying to do? We're trying to be just like him. That's the target. The target is perfection. Now, do we ever hit the target? Probably not here. But when we get there, we can meet that goal to ultimately look more and more like Jesus. In Philippians 2, the passage highlights that Jesus' selflessness in his incarnation and his sacrificial death, which emphasizes both his humanity and his obedience and the Godhead in his obedience to death. Jesus' ministry was characterized by healing the sick, feeding the hungry, teaching the multitudes, always while prioritizing the needs of others. He had all the power in the world, but he never used any of it to benefit himself. His power was always expended, his energies were always expended as he served to other people. There were times that he was exhausted and he had to get away, and that's okay. Self-care is not selfish. If you don't take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of other people? And as people of God, isn't that part of our responsibility, is to care for others around us? Jesus demonstrates his humbleness and his willingness to serve others when he washes the disciples' feet. And there are lots of examples, Old Testament and New Testament, of people that were chasing after God. And they were doing it in such a selfless way that they were serving others as they did it. And that's the example that we need. We are called to be disciples of Jesus, looking more like him every day. And if we do that, we tend to put priorities of other people in front of our own priorities. That's the challenge. How do we do that? How do we do that consistently and constantly in the world that we live in today, which is so built around selfishness? We're called to be countercultural, different than the culture. We're called to live in this place, but not be of this place. And that's a struggle for all of us. And I'm going to tell you, it's a struggle for me. I am a sinner that's been saved by grace. I understand what Jesus has done for me. And that's the point. We've got to work out of that position, understanding what Jesus has done for us, developing a personal relationship, and then sharing with others, putting their priorities before ours. So that's my challenge for you this week. Think about that. It's not about you. So for It's Not About You, thank you for taking the time to watch.